Let's see if the smart board's going to work like it did. Oh, yeah. This is a huge improvement over first period. All right, so what did I ask for? Ask for acceleration, and I told you to draw it in two ways. So, tell me what to do.
One, there's D and T in this.
Okay, so D and T, and I assume swerves means with a curve. Okay, that's one perfectly good.
Do a curve starting on the D and then go down.
Okay, so a D and a T with its swerve starting on the D like this. So that would be a what? That's deceleration. So that's the second question. So this one is A, and that one's B. So let me label that. So really. All right, so the second variety. How else can we label the graph? Oh, stop it. Come on. You can work on that at lunch. All right, so how else can we draw the graph on the test? How else might I show it? V and T. Okay, so if I draw it with V and T, all right, how does my graph line have to look if I draw it with velocity and time?
Diagonal straight. That's straight.
All right, straight and diagonal. So if that's acceleration, how do I draw it with deceleration?
Go down.
Go down, because deceleration means you're slowing down. Any questions about the first question?
Nope.
All right. Now, the second two, I think, were calculations, if I remember what I saw.
You said those were the second question?
Those were A and B, because question one had an A and a B.
Oh, yeah.
Question A was draw acceleration, and question B was draw deceleration. Because you will see graphs on the test on Thursday. Yep, Thursday. On Friday.
Huh? Oh,
Just for you, Carlos.
We're not having this on my birthday.
Yes, we're not. I take
Oh,
your
I didn't
birthday
even know it was my
tomorrow.
birthday no more. My boss actually grew up.
So what you gonna do tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're going to probably finish the lab. I don't know if we'll have time to get it all the way finished through the calculation.
Are we doing the lab today?
And then we'll do a little bit of test review. Do stuff with forces.
Are we doing the lab today?
We're going to start it today.
What about cars?
Do we have partners?
Actually, it's one you have to do by yourself. You
I'm
get
straight with that.
you get
That
remember,
right there, back
you're going to
there.
chew your own gum, so you're going to have your own data. Now, people can help you or be expert consultants, but everybody has their own lab data today. So you're really doing it by yourself.
Could I sit somewhere right there?
That'll be fine.
Same word.
She said a word, G.
So it'll just be a mix of stuff that we're doing tomorrow. Then you'll need to finish your makeup what you miss. All right. So can we do two? So question two is asking you to, what is the deceleration of a car? So what's deceleration? How do we calculate deceleration? The same way we find what? Acceleration. It's the same formula. So if you're finding deceleration, it's the same formula from acceleration. So what's the acceleration formula? A equals VF minus VI over T. So what's our first velocity?
75.
75. All right, so 75 goes here. Subtract. What's our second velocity? No, it's not. It says to rest.
70.
What does rest mean? Stop. So what is stop's velocity?
Zero.
Zero.
So 75 subtract 0 equals 75 over.
Now, hold on, math wizard over there. All right, you said the second velocity was 0. So you said 75 minus 0, but what did we write down? That's right, so that would be negative 75. Because remember what we said yesterday about deceleration. Deceleration would have what kind of number? Negative. All right, what's our time? 2.5. So we're going to put 2.5 on the bottom. Now, you can do what Devin did, and you can just say 75 minus 0, as long as you always remember that you get What kind of numbers?
Negative.
You gotta remember this negative. So, 75 divided by 2.5 is negative 30. Now, our units, remember, acceleration is the one you keep them all. So we have what here? Miles per hour and seconds. So we write miles per hour per second. Questions about number 2? All right, number 3, last one. Nope, never mind. We've got 2 more. What's the velocity of a plane flying 450 miles an hour south if it's flying into a 35-mile-an-hour headwind? What do we do if a plane is flying into a headwind? Subtract. So 450 subtract 35, because these are called combining velocities. It's going to slow it down. So 450 subtract 35 is 415 miles per hour. I need something.
South.
There you go. We're finding a velocity. So you have to tell the direction. So you have to write south. If you don't tell the direction, have you given a velocity? No. Velocity gives direction.
Wouldn't it be scalar if you just?
Yes, it would be a scalar, which would be a speed if you don't give the direction. That is correct. Okay. All right. Number 4. The velocity of bird droppings fall at a rate of 9.8 meters per second per second. And how much is the velocity of those bird droppings if they fall for 6 seconds?
So you're gonna do 6.
You gonna cross multiply?
Yeah.
All right, so what's the formula y'all are using?
It's V equals D over T.
All right, now, do you see a distance anywhere in that formula?
No, so
Or in this problem?
A on the V and the 6 on the T. So you're gonna multiply.
How about we use the right formula?
9.8.
Y'all got acceleration. Falling at a rate. Y'all are accelerating. Okay? Acceleration equals velocity over time. So when you
No.
acceleration. So bird droppings accelerate or fall. Anything that's falling is accelerating. So you have 9.8 is acceleration. Velocity is what they asked us for. And the time is 6. So all of you who are yelling cross multiply have the right math, but that's the formula that goes with your math. So what's 9.8 times 6? 58.8?
Yep.
All right. Now, when we cross multiply, what happens to this second and this second?
They cancel. So
So-
miles per second.
Meters per second. Questions? All right. You got homework?
You see.
I'd like to see it. And it needs to have work. If all you got are numbers written down, you're not getting full credit. So don't even argue with me when I get there. Told y'all that day 1. Y'all are going to pretend you don't know that now. Then you're going to be mad. What you got?
I even did more than one.
Well, that's good. You got work for 2 of them.
I did work.
I don't know if I should do more
homework.
It's not. What you got? I gave you half. You only got numbers. You got what? Haley bring it to me for a late raise and you said to bring it back. What you got? All will be mad at me. You got work on numbers 1 and 3, which is fabulous, and 7. And you got work on 9. What happened to number 11? Got some work going on here.
What about the question has a sentence for it?
85.
I got a question now.
We're the closest I got to any kind of work. I got work on 6 questions. I don't even get that straight to the wrong thing.
I guess it's how it goes.
Got work. You done.
Can't write the answer down. You can't write the answer down.
His handles like that though.
I show her like all my movies. It's not, because I'm looking for credit.
That's the whole sentence.
What we got over here?
There.
This side. Work.
We just might think about speaking.
Right, so that's on there.
Let the 9.
Maria,
Watch me get 100.
Maria, are we so crazy? What should give you a 50, Maria?
I'll be mad, because I bought it for nothing.
You got work.
You do home corrections?
Huh?
You know homework, you know.
Did I grade on Thursday? I do not remember.
He's up early.
Where? Bring the paper next time.
You better not get for work.
Throw away next time.
And you
No.
I never let you paper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but she's no shit.
I'm working so I calculate it right.
What she loves.
I want some paper, Louis.
Chris, you got anything? And you're making a mess.
Use that
These
paper.
drinks. You're not messing up over there. Water dries clear. What is this crap you're trying to write down? You made a lot of going around. It doesn't even match what you have. Except number 9. Huh? Number 9 matches, the rest of it doesn't match.
Nah.
50. Come on, new work that goes to the problem.
Oh.
It's not hard to tell, y'all wrote down trying to tell you go to questions. While I was walking around over there.
I ain't that. Oh, yeah, let my boss not get his way.
That's a travel. That's a travel.
That's how that probably got looking. That's that James Harden too.
You want me to stay with
He
you?
tried.
What you got, Jimmy?
We gotta get him the James Harden.
How come you ain't got work on 11?
Hey, bro, sit down. What that nigga?
James Harden setback.
Sit down, Louis. Oh, that's why I thought you were talking to me. No, I said, sit down, Louis. No. I said it's constant or changing.
That how? Changing how? I was a city.
What I got?
I got those like
Oh, I got 100.
I have one for you. That's 75.
What's wrong with 1?
Now, if you was thinking of like, if you was talking about shit,
Okay.
I gotta say something.
What did I make? I didn't tell you anything, it's 100. All right, let's look at the answer. What? Yep. All right, question number 1. Asked you to find the speed, I think, that somebody ran.
Is it car travel?
Car traveling, okay. Somewhere I have it. All right, you should have 54.1 meters per second. Anybody not have 54.1 meters per second? Anybody need me to talk about number one? Meters per second. All right. Number three, you should have 0.75 meters per second. Anybody need me to do that one?
What?
0.75. You have to match up your numbers. So you're finding speed equals distance over time. Now, how many times did I give you a number three? So if you see this on the test Thursday, how many times do you have? 2. What are you going to do with 2 times, Devin? You're going to subtract. So you have 60 minus 20.
80 minus 50.
Now, 80 minus 50 is not given in the question, so where do you find the 80 and the 50? Where do you find that?
You have to go up to the distance.
Where?
Times it. Oh, here.
With the problem, where I can see it easily. So, if we look at the chart right above it, you've got to find the 60. 60 matches up with 80. And the 20 matches up with what? 20 matches up with 50. So you get 30, and you get 40, and then you divide and you get 0.75. And then the units come from the chart, and they're meters over seconds. Now, a couple different ways to do number 5. You can look at the data or you can graph it. Some of you drew a graph, and it was not a straight line. Some of you can look at the data and see that it jumps from 0 to 50 to 70 to 80 to 100. Is that in equal increments?
No.
No, so it cannot be a constant speed graph. All right, number 7. How do you find time? What do you have to do here? Velocity equals distance over time. What's the velocity in number 7? What's the velocity in number 7? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me the velocity of number 7? 265. All right, what's the distance in number 7? 3,568 over t. So what do you got to do to solve for t?
Divide.
Cross multiply first.
Well, really, all you really have to do is just divide. That's what I did.
And then you're going to divide by 265. Now, when I grade or look for homework, I'm looking for something that looks like that. If all you have is an answer written down, what am I going to assume? You just copy somebody's answers down. You said, hey, what you got for these questions? I didn't do my homework. If you're going to take your time to copy the answers down, copy the work too.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. We gotta ask people about all of them.
Okay, Lewis? Well, okay then. So you get 13.4 hours. All right, number 9. A car accelerates. This one I didn't give you all the units, so you can't do all this one with the units. You go from 50 to 0, divided by 3, and you get an answer of 16.6. But you can't put a unit on that one because I left some of the units out. And the last one, number 11, you get 2 speeds. You get a speed of 80, a speed of 57, and then you have to subtract them, and you get 23 meters per minute for your final answer. Questions?
No.
Fabulous. Now, you need to get your Plickr card, and a couple of you, I changed your numbers because I deleted a couple people and shrunk the numbers. Not many of them. I think Keely I changed and Rachel. Everybody else is the same. What's Keely's? I think she's 4.
Okay, my B number 4. You got 4, Maria.
We're not going to do a lot. We're just going to do about 3 or 4 questions, then we're going to move on.
Did she change?
And Rachel, I think I left you the bigger number. If you remember what the higher number was in the two. Yeah.
Did you put this behind or did it?
I'm going to pull them up in a
Song
minute.
3.
but- Yeah, I didn't change most people's. I remember but Rachel had 2 numbers and Shirley has 1. But I made it so everybody was under number 24. And a couple of people had higher numbers than that.
It's the same number, Ms. Wall.
I'm 3.
So Keely's 4.
I'm 2. Miss Wall.
Rachel, you're down. Find it.
Yeah.
10. Carlos is 24.
16.
There you go. Find the number.
Oh, I already know my number. I was asking you.
Oh, openings. I forgot to take them up.
You might as well let me collect it.
Now,
Oh, can I collect?
hold on. No. With the openings, you need to make sure you do 2 things. 1, make sure your name's on it. And 2, make sure they're clearly labeled. Some of y'all, no offense, and I can say this because my handwriting's bad too, but you need to make sure I can tell the difference between one opening and the next. Either draw a line or like, see how Devin labeled them opening 1 and opening 2? I can clearly tell the difference between one opening and the next opening. If your handwriting is so bad, it sort of smears into the next opening. Make sure you draw a line or something in between them so I can tell where one stops and the next one starts. Okay? I mean, if you use 10 sheets of paper, okay. But really, they should be able to fit on 2 pages, 3 pages tops. Okay? 4 is okay. It's fine. You just don't need 10. When you're done and you put your name on it, stick it over here on my desk in a stack. And then have your card ready. You need a calculator. Well, I grab my iPad so I can scan it. I don't care if they don't have the dates. What? It's fine if you put the dates. A lot of people put the date. Some people don't. It's fine if you don't. You just give me what you've got. Did you leave those at home too? Okay. You hand me yours. So you don't have to get up and get in a hurry.
I just
I'm only missing this. I really just
No, I don't hear that all of them.
How many minutes you talking about?
I didn't do that.
Well, some of them
How many you got?
There was this one day that I didn't come. So I'm not gonna.
That's fine. You'll get a 90.
Oh, well, you're gonna be confused then. Oh, no, I What will?
You know I ain't with all that. Nah, bro.
Just make sure you put your name on it because I don't recognize everybody's handwriting at this point. It's fine. 1 page is great.
I got the same number.
Yeah.
Did you say you're eating?
No.
What?
I'm like,
Huh?
Class did not even have. Yeah. So she can have. That's my sister. I'll put the topic to the rest of the
All right. Does everybody have their opening turned in? And you have a clicker card? Come on, Nishan, hurry up. Thanks, Doc. All right. So what day did you actually join us? Like Thursday? Yeah. So you would be missing the first 2, so you'd only have 8. Yeah, so Monday we didn't do it. So you'd miss the first 2, so you'd join us Thursday. So you'd only have 8. Yep. Should be.
I know these.
Okay. This is probably about frame of reference, looking at it. Yes.
DeAndre got a stinky. DeAndre got a stinky on.
This is why I told y'all to keep them separate.
I agree with that.
Those are notes. Notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of 8. Now, since I have a couple people like Jesus, and I know Keyshawn joined us late, but I think he was absent one day also. So it's popping in my head. And I know Jesus was absent. No, Carlos has been absent.
I was at.
Maria said she was absent. When y'all were absent, you see this notebook back here that says openings?
No.
No, I didn't even know that there was that there.
Yeah,
I told y'all about this day one day.
I was here then.
The first day we did the openings.
Yeah, I was here.
Okay, then you have a reason not to know, let's talk about it again. The first section says openings chemistry, that's not y'all. The second section says openings physical science, that's y'all, okay? Every opening we've done is in here. Alright, so unless you are Rachel who just joined us yesterday, or you are Nishan who should not have the first two because you joined us 3 days into class. Alright, you should have every opening from the first 10 days. These are labeled by date and the day of the week. So if you were absent, let's say yesterday, and you need day 9, all you have to do is go to today at the back. This is, whoops, must still be on my desk up there. So I've got to get it off my desk, and it would normally, today's would normally be here, because yesterday's is still here. This is yesterday's, which is here, and normally today's would be here, but I forgot to stick it in here. And you could just go there and get the opening, okay? But I print them all, and I put them in the notebook, so you can get them when you get back to being absent.
All right.
Now, tomorrow, when you come in, do you start numbering number 11? No. Start over at number 1, so we count 1 to 10. So if you're absent, you know if you're missing one. And it's easier for us to count, so when you go to swallow, what opening number are we on? We all know what number we're on. Okay? Hey, Sue. Huh?
The openings that I missed from Monday.
If you want to make them up, then make them up.
I'm looking forward very much.
Okay. All right. See if it's gonna load. See, it's doing its thing up there.
This look great today?
Nope, this is for practice for our test. It's still processing. Alright. I don't need that. Alright, so let's say this is the test question on Thursday. Find me an answer. Okay, use your calculator and find me an answer. Shh, without the noise. If you need to, write it down, not the question, but do the work on a piece of paper so that you do it correctly. Remember what I told you about holding the card up. We're going to do about 3 or 4 of these, and then we're going to move on to momentum. Devin.
It's A.
Shut up.
It's not A.
Just walk quickly. Look. Next person.
That's not what Bowers did. She was like. Or Miss Hudgens. Did you get one?
I think it did. Hold on. I'm on the other side of the room at the moment.
Keep it almost on our side so we can see it.
DeMarco, there you go. If your finger or your thumb is in any way, Miss Jonathan. There we go. And I miss Nathan. I got everybody. All right, so 19 of us got it right, 4 of us got it wrong. So when we look at this, what are we solving for? It says how long? Time. Speed equals distance over time. The speed is what?
600. Oh, 55.
Distance is,
600.
we're solving for,
So you're supposed to multiply first.
so 55t equals, so what are we dividing by? So 600 divided by 55 was?
10.9.
Okay, so the answer was C. All right, let me pick a different one. None of them are really hard. All right. Now, what's the average speed of the runner? What is the average speed of the runner? And the answers are on the side of the table. What is the average speed of the runner if you see this on the test on Friday? Or Thursday, sorry, wrong day of the week. Thursday. If you guys don't want to hold your cards up just yet, hold on. I'm going to wait on a few more people to be ready before I scan.
We don't care. Still giving me.
All right, you ready?
No.
Gavin, yours is behind Charles's head. Never mind, you don't have to turn around. I thought you were holding it for a minute. I got it.
But did you do one?
I'm gonna put it
I
wrong
thought
this
the
way.
average is you added everything up and divided by that number and then multiplied it, right? For that.
No, it's like split stuff.
I don't understand because I did everything correct.
I know it.
Because the time equals 100 and the distance equals
Give me one. What's that?
So 100 divided by
It's E. I think it's E.
No, it's F.
And shut
I
it
thought it
off.
was G.
One
Wait on,
Oh, yeah.
Devin, give me an answer. Come on.
Well, hang on, man. I have to hear I'm sorry.
Oh,
All right, 6 of us got it right. These are split times. What's the total time dude ran? What's the total time he did?
100.
40.
40.
The total distance he went? 25 divided by 40 is?
Hey.
I got it.
B. You don't have to add all that together. It's split times. All right. Find a different one. All right.
I got it.
Find his displacement.
Oh.
Find the displacement.
He said I can.
If I walk 3 blocks west and 5 blocks south, what's my displacement? Yeah, hang on. It's easier to just get everybody one. Than it is to keep doing it over and over again. Okay? Look at these.
You can't be correct. I heard some things yesterday.
Stop. Yeah. Stop.
I'm gone. I'm gone.
Oh, God.
Wait a minute, did we hear the same?
All right, looks like I got quite a few at this point.
Dang, dang.
Oh, it's wrong. Hold up.
It's right.
Oh.
Come on.
Missing Rachel, Jonathan, Alberto.
Let's get us again.
Whatever happens.
All right,
Wait, you're gonna be.
Oh.
all right. So I have 10 people that are right and a total of 13 people who are wrong. Now, if you said 8 blocks, because I have 11 of you who picked C, what'd you find?
You find it, it's a
They add.
They added and they found distance.
Oh.
If you said 8, you found distance. You added and found the total distance you walked. And if they didn't ask for distance, they asked for what?
Display.
Displacement.
And then if
That's like the shortcut. So you walk 3 blocks west and 5 blocks south. So you're looking for the shortcut. You went from here to here through the church parking lot. So 3 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared. 9 plus 25.
equals 34.
That's not your answer, so you put
You square root it.
Shh. So the square root of 34 is what? It's what? 5.8. So that's why it's B. Any questions? Okay? All right, one more. And then we're going to switch to momentum. All right, let's find one more I like.
I like the dance. I like the right now.
I got.
Let's do this.
How many you got? Mark?
There we go. All right. Since that's what we did yesterday, calculate that one. This should be an easy one. This is what we did yesterday.
Hold
This is what we did yesterday, so this should be an easy one for us.
Isn't it VF subtract VI?
Oh, it's not. Yes,
Okay, hold up.
I can't even do my corner right now. So let's hope I do this.
Carlos, that's not the point.
Alumni.
Oh.
Why I give you cards that the answers are small enough you can't all see A, B, C, or D.
It's not it.
It's so.
Ray Younger.
Sure. And they do it right on the answers.
He's got a lot more green in it than the last one. There you go. He's on your hand was on the black. Yep, I got them. Alright, is there anybody I'm missing? Nope, I got everybody. Alright, we got 17 right answers and 6 wrong answers. Alright, so when we look.
I said.
Alright, so what's my first velocity? Shh. Devin, shh. Those of you who are talking, stop. So, what is my first velocity in the question?
25.
So 25 goes there. Subtract.
Goes there.
Yep,
You
and
get
over.
right there. And you get
So, what's 95 minus 25?
70 divided by 6 is 1.6. How about you?
And you get 1 point what?
11.6.
11.6. Now, because A, it said acceleration, it should be positive, but it might be negative. But because we go up in number, it's going to be a positive number, so it's D. questions about any of that?
All
right.
Huh?
Because the numbers are positive. They go from 25 to 95. The numbers are increasing. If the numbers go down, it'll be negative.
Five more.
No, we've got to do momentum today so we can get to the lab. All right.
Is momentum part of the clicker?
All right. Momentum is not part of the lab. It's just the last
No,
topic.
not the lab, but the practice.
Clicker, no. No, I don't have momentum. All right, last one. What's the speed from t equals 10 to t equals 30? Last one. And then we're moving on to momentum so we can be done and do the lab. Because we have to get all of our data today. We can finish the calculations tomorrow, but I might have enough gum for 2 days. I'm not sure. So what? We had the same chart, not the same questions. Yeah, I had the same chart, just not the same question.
Hey.
Oh, I forgot I had it.
Would you stop?
You call. No.
Maybe I calculated that wrong. I did do it right before class started.
No.
Oh, no, that's a lot of
It is.
A lot. It's a lot. Of
T.
Anybody get green yet?
Not many. Right.
I'm the.
I got you. Look, watch that green.
You learned it from
That
the
green?
top.
Yes.
No.
I don't get mine yet. I know I got mine from.
I heard about second period.
I heard about first period.
Well, I have,
You got English for
Maybe
first
I
period?
calculated it
I
wrong.
got chop.
I got math for
I
first
got.
I don't know. We're gonna calculate the second.
I don't know.
Maria?
You got right.
Oh.
They guess it. That's what it's.
No, some people know.
The best goes, New York.
Kaylee? I didn't get yours.
What's the answer? Throw it up. Throw it up.
All right, so I got everybody with Cynthia.
She guessed.
All right. So I'm still only at 6 for the right answer. Maybe I calculated it wrong. Let's see if I did.
I know.
All right, so when we look at this, speed equals distance over time, and I was in a hurry, so maybe I did it wrong. All right, so t equals 30 over 10, right? I got 30 and I got 10 here for my time. So 30, subtract 10 on the bottom. All right, so I need distance on top. So what distance goes with 30?
19.
And
And 8.
Okay, so 19 subtract 8.
You get something. I forgot.
What do I get?
20. It's 11. 9.
No, maybe we get 11. 11 subtract, what was that, 20?
Yeah.
So 11 divide 20.
11 divided by 20. I thought it was 20 divided by 11.
Well, it's got to be distance on top.
Oh,
Right?
B. I put B.
So I get 0.55. Much language. All right, so distance has to be on top. Time has to be on the bottom. So the 11 has to be on top because that's the distance.
Why is it C though?
I flipped it.
Because it's 11 on top because it's distance. This is the distance column. That's distance. That has to be on top. That's time. That has to be on the bottom.
I keep on forgetting.
Yeah, that's the part you got to remember. So see, but you see what I mean though about when you flipped it, I put the other answer in the answer choices.
See, if I was
It's
writing
like
it
that on the
down,
test too.
If I was writing it down, it'd be different.
All right, if you will, put your cards on my desk and then find your notes. We're going to do momentum so we can talk about the lab. Put them on this desk right here.
Like nuts. Who? Robert Murphy.
Put them over here. I already said that like twice.
I know, but people said put them over there, so I was grabbing them.
Well, thank you for grabbing.
Oh, you're welcome.
I have to. She's like, oh. Like, okay, that's me.
I'm ready.
What?
Miss Bowers. Did you say Mr. Bowers?
Yeah, but you're in charge.
Momentum, yeah.
So far.
Mr. Hall, can I see briefly, Isabel, today,
If it was fourth period, Miss Burton, yes, you could. But you're in third period.
right?
But it's all good. I'm having that kind of day too, so I understand. It's all good. Come back fourth period. All right, let's talk momentum for a minute. All right, momentum is a word that y'all probably heard maybe in driver's ed.
Yeah, I got
In another science class. Okay, momentum is defined as mass times velocity. Yeah. If you want to. What is it? No, he's doing second lunch. You are not going to the bathroom right now. No. You're going to go with your girlfriend. Go see.
got first lunch.
His girlfriend has second lunch. She's not a freshman.
I don't mean that really.
I got a beat when I'm done.
If that's me,
Might have bladder.
That's
And after 1:05, if you need to go to the bathroom, fine. If you want to go before 12:35 every day,
That's the
you may go to the bathroom. Not during second lunch. No.
Can I go to the restroom?
Huh? No. Now, given that momentum is defined as mass times velocity, what are the only two things that are going to affect momentum then? Mass and velocity. Okay? So, when you took driver's ed, Mr. Mormon probably talked to you about larger cars, probably things like big trucks or trains. Maybe not, okay?
Because it takes a longer time to stop.
It does, all right? They're going to have more momentum, which means A, it's going to take them longer to stop, but they're also going to do more damage to you or to your property if they hit your car, okay? It's not that they're attempting to hurt you or to destroy your vehicle, but your car or truck or whatever you drive probably weighs around an average of 5,000 pounds. Some might be 4,000, some might be 6,000, but average is around 5,000 pounds. If an 18-wheeler is fully loaded at maximum capacity, it's 80,000 pounds.
So,
Okay? So if it's at 80,000 pounds, which one will have more momentum when it's traveling? The 80,000 pounds. So it needs more time to stop. Now that's just an 18-wheeler. So envision a train that you've seen with lots of cars attached to it. It will have a great deal more mass than an 18-wheeler. So can it stop at as short a distance as an 18-wheeler? No, it's got a lot more momentum. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
The
Nisha.
reason why they go like the speed limit high enough?
Say what now?
Is that the reason why they speed limit is high enough?
What? Trains or big trucks?
Yeah.
Usually their speed limit is a little lower than ours, and that's because it is harder for them to stop because of their weight difference.
My sister said, she was like, because you know how trains normally don't stop for anything? My sister,
Just because they can't. It usually takes them like a mile to stop a train. So even though they may see a car on the tracks, they will blow the horn they will hit their emergency brakes and they will lock it down, but they're not going to be able to physically stop that train. They will nail whatever is on the tracks. So if your car is on the tracks and you are stalled, the best advice I can give to you is get out of the car. Don't sit in the car. Okay? If you're sitting off the tracks and the guard things come down, I would put my car in drive and shove whoever is in front of me out of the way and get off those tracks. No, I'm talking about, so you've all been in Winston, I'm sure, on Haynesville Boulevard.
Yeah.
And there's the train tracks that are rarely used, that have the guard gates that come down. People pull up on those train tracks when the light turns red instead of leaving the gap and staying off those train tracks. And if you look at the guard gates, they're bent. Those gates have come down and hit somebody's car at some point in time where a train has come. And someone has been caught in the middle of those tracks. Now, if you're sitting on those tracks when a train comes, either A, get out of the car, or B, push the car in front of you out of the way. Do not sit on those tracks when a train's coming. You will not survive the collision.
I seen a movie.
Go ahead. Let me know how it works out. Now, if you are skinny enough, you know, and you want to lay on the tracks and hope nothing hits you, as the train goes over you, I'm not brave enough to try that. Oh, God. You know, they show a lot of things in movies. I'm not going there. One at a time. I can't listen all of it at once. What? You know, they show lots of things in movies. Lots of those things are done by stunt people and professionals. I don't recommend a lot of us try those things. You know, if you want to give it a shot, go for it. But if it turns out badly, you know, there's not a lot of
I'm like something would drop from the middle and like.
It is a possibility. Yes. Yes.
I like that.
It could decapitate you.
I tell the story.
Now, depending on what hit you, and
I did not tell.
I'm going to let you. But back to Jesus's story. Depending on the velocity of the train and how fast the train is traveling when you hit that object, yes, it could rip out a piece of your body or, God forbid, decapitate you if it hits you in the head.
Yeah. Okay, so what I was trying to say was that train stopped when it hit my sister. Died. Like, it didn't stop immediately, but it stopped.
Well, I'm glad. If they're going slow enough, they probably can.
Yeah, because
They said the train was going like, I can't remember. I think it was 16 miles.
Most of the time, when there are people on train tracks, they die. There have been multiple casualties in Davidson County in the last year or 2 years where people have died. They're walking on train tracks, they get hit by the train.
That's right.
As long as you get out of the way and see it in time.
That's what my sister thought. My sister thought she got away.
Now, moving on. So the second piece of momentum, aside from the size of the mass, is the speed. So if a car is moving faster or something is moving faster, it also has more momentum. So when you have a traffic accident, if you're down on Main Street and you're in the 20 or 35 mile an hour zone, you have less momentum. But if you're out on 85 and you're running 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour, you have more momentum. Where's your car going to suffer the greater damage?
On the 85.
On 85, because you have more momentum. It's going to rip it apart much worse because you have more momentum. Does that make sense? Now, can two objects have the same momentum if they have different masses?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
All right, Jameer said speed, and he's got the right answer. All All right, the answer is yes. All right.
Look at me, that was him. I'm afraid.
Devin, shh. They must have a velocity that will allow for it. For example, let's say that we have a mass of 5 kilograms. Would y'all give it a rest? If we have a mass of 5 kilograms and we have a mass of 10 kilograms, can we get something that has a momentum that is the same? The answer is yes. Now, how can we do that? Well, the first thing we need to know is, what is momentum's formula? Well, what did we say it was just a second ago? I didn't write in the formula yet, but it's mass times velocity, right? So, if we know that the mass is 5, I was going to say, can you calm down over there? Let's just say that we want the momentum to be 50. Five times what will give me 50?
10.
Okay. So if the velocity is 10, I can get a momentum of 50.
Yeah.
On this one, if my mass is 10 kilograms, what would the velocity need to be here to give me a momentum of 50? 5. So it's very easy to get the same momentum even if the mass is different. Okay? Now, happens all the time on the football field. What does Coach Henderson make y'all do all summer long, Chris? What does he preach in the spring, after football's over, and during the summer? What's he want y'all to be working on? Going to the weightlifting room. Bulking up, right? Because it increases your what? Your mass, which increases your momentum on the football field, which is something he's trying to get y'all to do. Okay? It makes you more massive and you have more momentum to plow over people on the football field. What, Drew?
Like Big Kev.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we there? All right, so the formula. This is on your reference table. P equals M times V. And if you look at your yellow card, nobody has it out, but if you look at your yellow card, very good. Look at your yellow card, DeAndre. All right, this is going to be down several formulas. This one sucks. We actually have the next unit's formulas before we have momentum. So cruise down about 4 or 5 formulas on the page. And it says P equals MV. Everybody see where it's at? So you know where to find it on test day. Because if you come up to me during the test and say, Ms. Wall, where's the momentum formula? Am I going to tell you?
No.
I'm going to tell you I forgot.
Actually,
We're going to talk about power in a couple weeks. Yeah, I know. Some people won't be able to find it. Then I see it, I'll go, I don't know. Can't remember. I'll remember in a little while, but I don't remember right now. Okay? P equals MV. Everybody see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you look to the right of that, as DeAndre just pointed out,
FG weight.
you see where it says P equals? What does it say P equals? Okay, so if you forget, you can see where it says P equals momentum. So if you forget, you can look it up. Now, lots of people always ask, Ms. Paul, what's P momentum? Why not an M? Well, what's M already stand for? Yeah, M is already mass, so we can't use that letter. V is velocity. And N is already taken with another variable. So P is sort of close to it in the alphabet. And so since it's close to it in the alphabet, they picked P. Why they arbitrarily picked P, I have no idea, but they did. So using this formula is one of the easiest ones we have, and students don't usually struggle with this, so I don't spend a lot of time on it. So P equals what is mass? We're looking for mass. So we're looking for M with a momentum of 50. Where do I put the 50? Where do I put the 50? What's it say right there, people?
Momentum.
Momentum. Times what's the velocity?
10.
Got it. So how do I solve for the mass? Divide by 10. Now, what unit is a mass going to be in based on what's in that problem?
kg.
Look at the problem and tell me what unit we're going to put on that mass. Very good. Okay, so when you look up here, this MS cancels with this MS, and you're left with kg. Everybody good with that? Yes?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
I'm just looking at something real quick. I need to see what I had next. Why do you keep spitting in my trash can?
Because.
Are those sunflower seeds?
No.
Then what are you spitting in my trash can?
Okay, I got allergies, and it's like,
Right.
you know, like yellow. Yeah.
You're spitting snot in my trash can?
You ain't never done that before.
No.
Hostility.
What about to swallow it?
Yeah, but swallow
I'm not the one.
I just like that.
Put it in the bottle.
You gotta leave
Mucus is
alone.
more like that.
You gotta go visit.
Let's have a bottle of home.
Sometimes
Y'all
you-
Call the janitor.
It's lost.
Hey.
It's all good. Everybody got what they need?
Right.
Wait, oh, all right.
My name is Lou.
Wait.
You're just throwing a pencil. All right, so if we look at this one, and don't write it down, I just want to show you the graph for a second. What if you saw something like this on the test on Thursday?
I'm scared.
Some of you would be scared. You just look at the question, pick A, B, C, or D, and move on. All right, but instead of doing that, try using the brain cells you actually have and think through the problem. Okay?
You told me to guess.
Now, what is this right here?
It's momentum.
Okay, so you have momentum there. What is this right here?
25G.
What is a G?
That's
It's a mass. Okay? So you can read momentum, which is, let me get a different color. All right, you can read momentum, which is P. You have mass, which is right there. So you can calculate what? You calculate velocity. Okay? We could find that, right? Now, the question in number 1 says, what is the momentum at t equals 8 seconds? Find 8 on the graph. Okay? And you would read up to the graph, and then what would the momentum be?
200.
Okay?
200.
Any trouble with reading the graph?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the second one wants the velocity at t equals 6 seconds. Now, this is why I pointed out this formula that you already know. All right, so 6 seconds.
150.
All right, so the momentum is what?
150.
150. Lewis sound. Okay, so 150 is P. What did you just tell me the mass was?
200.
So mass is 200 and what?
50.
And you want to find the what? So what formula did we just talk about today?
C divided.
P equals M times V. So what are we plugging in for P?
25.
What's P?
150.
150 equals, what's M?
25.
That's 250. And then times?
And big.
So what would you do to solve for the V?
Divide 250.
You would divide by 250. Now, that's not that hard, but most of you would have looked at that question and been like, I can't do that, and quit and just bubbled something. Don't just bubble something. Take your time and analyze the question. Questions about that? All right. Let us talk about the lab. What?
What's the letter you pick when you don't know it?
I either pick B or C.
Right.
Depends. If I can eliminate, if I can't, then I typically pick C.
I always pick C.
One to everybody.
Boy, I see this thing, it said, there's a 70% chance you don't know the answer, and the answer is C.
Probably so. And if you don't know, statistically, you have a better chance of always picking the same thing, either always picking C or always picking B. Don't rotate between the two of them.
Always pick C.
There. I was gonna say, where's my trash?
No.
You get one each.
Yeah.
Alright, if you want juicy fruit, Devin's got the juicy fruit.
Sit down, I'll give you some juicy fruit.
Lewis has the double mint. And I have 2 containers of each. So I have plenty of both.
What?
Oh my God, don't break up next time.
Yeah, choose whichever flavor you want. It doesn't matter to me if you get juicy fruit or if you get double mint. If one of them run out, let me know how I'll get the other back. This way it doesn't get stale.
Well, you can go all the way down to
You pass and don't get out to everybody but me. You gonna have to shoot my voice if you pass out another piece of gum, you don't come to me.
I have another pack of both.
Where you go?
How much it costs? $6.
You can put it in your mouth and chew when you get it. You don't have to wait.
On God, say word. On God.
Who doesn't have gum?
Hello, I would like to report.
Who does not have gum?
I got one.
You can go ahead and chew it.
I got one.
Why would you?
You got it just for put in your pocket.
No.
Who does not have gum?
They have
I need you to sit down.
It's not. That's
Alright.
Do I start chewing now?
Yeah.
You have extra gum because he does not have gum.
Why don't you have a piece of gum just for a minute?
You want juicy fruit because he has the extra. Anybody else not have gum?
Taking a minute.
Got you a whole pack. Yeah.
Does everybody have gum?
Yeah.
Yeah, do I start chewing that one off?
Hold on. Look at your lab sheet. So everybody knows what they're doing. Because you guys are working essentially by yourself. Everybody can use someone in the room as an expert consultant when you get to the calculations. You can use me as an expert consultant if you get stuck. But, are you listening? I'm not going to talk above you. Now, when you look at the lab sheet, first of all, there's no distance for speed equals distance over time when you're doing your calculation. You have chomps instead of distance, okay? So, make this a little bigger. Let me make that bigger. All right, so if you look at this first part, all right, it says, for this experiment, you're going to do 5 trials. You're going to do them in 30 seconds. So you've got a lovely clock up here with a second hand. You're going to watch 30 seconds tick by. You're going to count the chomps of the gum. That's going to be your distance for the purposes of this lab. So you're going to chew and chomp. Okay? You can go ahead and, I would recommend chewing the gum up so it's in a nice consistency before you try this and it's not hard. All right? You're going to do it 5 times. Now, before you all get points taken off for chomps, the unit for chomps is chomps. Okay? You can put CH. I can live with the abbreviation of CH. Time will be 30. Will be what seconds? How long are you doing this? 30 seconds. Now every year, yes, every year I have people put 42 seconds, 50 seconds, 12 seconds. How long did I tell you to time yourself?
30.
So do it for 30 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And then calculate your speed. Your speed is your number of chomps divided by your time. Now, you've got to get all that data today. You can calculate the speed in a little while. Now, look at this one. You got to do this one too today. This one is like split times, okay? You're going to time yourself for a full 60 seconds, a full minute, continually counting. Watch 20 seconds tick off, chewing, chewing, chewing. Let's just say you chew, and you chew 42 times in 20 seconds. Keep chewing, and you're still chewing. At 40 seconds, you chewed 89 times. Write it down. You're still chewing. When you get to 60 seconds, you chewed 112 times. Write it down. Okay? This is a continuous run of chewing. You don't stop counting all the way through 60 seconds. You got me? Okay. You've got to fill in these 2 tables right here. This one. Here, let me take that out a little bit. Okay? These 2 tables right here, you have to fill in today. Everything else we can do tomorrow, but these 2 have to be done today. Everybody got me?
Yes.
Okay. Chew, count, and calculate.
Hey, Carlos, it's too much.
It's not too much.
Nah, that was me.
Keely. Yes, you can. You cannot see the second hand move close. Can you what? Timer?
That means better. Y'all can don't say time yourself.
If you promise to say all things other than your stopwatch, yes. You lose yourself.
Promises are meant to be broken.
I know. Some of y'all will violate the rules inside of 12 seconds. Only in your stopwatch timer app. Nothing else.
Let me check Facebook.
Of course.
I'm playing. I don't even know. Oh, yeah.
Stopwatch. Shush. You don't know me.
I know.
Pushing you. You can't count if you're talking.
So the time, all the time will automatically be 30 seconds, right?
Yes.
That's 30 seconds,
Yeah.
I'm chewing so fast, I lost count of spot.
You couldn't even count two.
That's
That's why I said be quiet.
What's the system?
Huh?
Yes.
What's the
I'm
system?
not even count.
I thought,
Don't piss me off.
Listen, sir. Yeah. Oh, God.
Really?
That's my keyboard.
Oh my God.
You straight up. Put that thing on silent or something.
What's the emphasis? Speed.
Can we just put CPS?
Say what?
Can we put CPS? CPS.
What? For,
Speed.
Put
put
CPS.
CH over S. That way CH abbreviates chomps, and then over S is seconds. You stop in more places.
Divide. I got divide.
I'm on pretty.
Can you stop?
Yep. Yep.
Everybody get like. Nah, $240.
And two.
Just a what?
Okay, my speed increased.
Transparent. What is the average?
Nobody
Huh?
going house.
I have 10.
Shut up.
Oh, okay, I see a line right here. Right there. Well, I knew you had an absent. Why couldn't figure out why you're missing one?
Sit down.
So remember,
Now pick it up.
Like I said, don't worry about that right now. You can do that
give me
tomorrow.
that design.
Guys, don't worry about the questions right now. Get the 2 data tables today. Everybody hear me say that?
Yeah, I heard you say it.
Okay. Now, once you have these 2 data tables done, then you can go back up here and answer the questions. But you've got to get these 2 data tables done first. Then go back up here. Okay, so you're going to show me the average total. So you're going to show me how you get that. So you're going to show me how you roll these up. And then divide them by 5. What are you talking about, Deshaun? So here, as we're out of counting, I said she and I, all these, add them all up, divide by 5. Let's show me the work. I'll give you an answer.
Ew.
So you know, what's your unit on this?
Yours is
Her brother.
it's taking like 15 minutes. And the eight just taking like 1 second.
That's 60 seconds. That's your
Why did
challenge.
you?
1 second. Show me the work. Don't just write the answer down. Show me the
Why
work.
you want here?
Make sure when you're doing the questions, you're showing me your work, because if you don't show me your work, you lose points.
You shoot that ball.
Did you put your sheet in the safe spot?
You don't
so
need
lose it for a moment?
Yeah.
I finished your checks. Okay, put your calculator
Why
on.
you put Tom? Why you want to put Tom? No. What's just killing it going back there? She's all right. I was like, dang.
Which is about the train.
Alright.
About the train.
She said,
Are you still on the set?
My head is. I have.
oh, no.
Body goes off.
Everybody
They
just
don't
don't
live.
look. No, they should have.
Are you talking about me? My sister, I mean, my friend.
Look, she's about to say my sister.
Oh, no, me.
Yeah, I got that too, Maria.
I think I got the same. And it's seven.
You said part B again.
How many days did you miss as far as the semester?
3.
I mean, at the very beginning.
I wasn't here the first day.
So you started on the second day of class?
Yeah.
And you should have.
Yeah.
That's that was.
It's not there.
Okay,
Oh, weird.
so we'll go back to class, it's all by third. No, not by third. You divide by five to get the average in that first question.
Marco, you remember my old girl with the big butt? In our class, in that class period, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Call. Boy, she's sitting there straight with her.
Okay, so you were adding those together?
That's about right. With lights, that don't. Not both, boy. I get it. Hey, bro, look, if you think about it, bro, you have kids, a lot of them like coming out 6'5".
Hell yeah. Hey, but that's good. Look, that means you can turn the boys to a prospect.
Right. And if it's a girl, she got run track or something, she can play basketball too.
Yeah.
She can't beat this
You're
kid.
gonna have like 1.47.
That's right.
Track.
6'5".
And then you like to work it down.
She better be boxing or something.
About 42.
Well, what you do is show me.
I'll be in it.
Do we turn this into a
Now, we've got about 2 minutes, so put your lab sheet in a safe spot. Okay, so you don't lose your lab sheet, and put your calculators up.
What? Hey, bro, you're strong, boy. Stand up, strong. Huh? What are you trying to get in? Boy, ain't no girl. Nothing at all.
Why texting me?
All right, put your calculators in the bucket.
Boy, no.
Did everybody get their day?
I was on my street.
All that the children got.
Get your calculators in the bucket.
Boy, Mom, I'm changing my life every time.